Miguel's fighting this dude. He gets a really good shin block. So that kicking combo right there, plus the 540 kick that's coming up, those were both by a stunt double. In order to figure out what your character's objective is.
That's what I'm like. Yeah, both of us.
Enola is taking down Mr. Bowler Hat Man. Hey friends! John here, and welcome to The Martial Actor. Today, I, a black belt, will be reacting to Cobra Kai Season 3. Now, this is part 1 of a 3-part series, so I've already reacted to Seasons 1 and 2. If you haven't seen those videos, check them out in the links below. Keep an eye out for parts 2 and 3, and let's dive right in.
This is it, folks. The moment we've all been waiting for. Returning to defend his title from Cobra
This is
Kai.
Season 3, Episode 1, titled Aftermath. Looking at the first of these clips, I was really impressed because it's a really strong way to start Season 3. It makes the audience question what's going on. You watch it and you think, oh, is Miguel okay? Is he healthy? Did he recover miraculously? I like this shot here. Normally in a sparring match that's adjudicated, you bow to the referee first and then you bow to each other. So we start and we get these really stylistic speed ramps that I think are a really great way to showcase a fight. It's really interesting to watch, so I love seeing that. So Miguel's fighting this dude. He gets a really good shin block. So that kicking combo right there, plus the 540 kick that's coming up, those were both by a stunt double. And then it flashes back to the crazy stunt at the end of Season 2, and you see that this is all happening in Miguel's mind, that it's a mental battle between himself and the coma. So I really like how they contextualize that. It really fits within the world of Cobra Kai. Now in this next clip, they're diving right in. And again, we're still using like the stylistic speed ramps, and they're juxtaposing it with the school fight in Season 2. That's really strong narrative work. Now that stunt, that was a good stunt. I never see those kinds of things in a real fight. Like if someone traps a leg that's been kicked, it's so rare for the combatant to then do a flip. Mostly because most of the time that flip would need to be assisted by the person grabbing the leg, which is why you only see it in movies. And then Miguel gets swept, and the dude here does like a jump spinning, almost like an axe kick. And you don't really see those kicks in real life either, simply because of the way that they work. It's very difficult to execute it properly without also injuring your own leg. So again, it looks great in movies, you don't see it in real life. So in this final clip, Miguel's surrounded by doctors and we're diving right into the fight, and he stands up, which personifies him taking control of the fight. So he's throwing these crazy kicks. We get this really tight zoom in with the camera. He throws a roundhouse, and then the stuntman kind of backs away. Miguel does like a spinning 540 hook kick, which the spin was from a stunt double. The hook kick itself was from Miguel. But then he gets a point and he wakes up. That's a really strong narrative way to contextualize Miguel's fight in his coma in the world of Cobra Kai. It was a really great choice, and it makes a lot of sense for the show.
That boy you two fought over would have sat front and center.
Don't talk about him.
Boys.
This is Season 3, Episode 2, titled Nature vs. Nurture, and this episode had so much content in it, I'm so excited to go over it. So the first bit is Tori's wrist lock. So Tori's getting into it with her landlord, who's like an alpha male douchebag, and she grabs his wrist and gets him into a wrist lock. So the way she does that wrist lock wouldn't exactly work in real life, and let me show you why. So Tori's landlord comes in and he brings his hand up to her face. So what she does is she grabs the meat of his thumb and then puts her elbow against his shoulder like this. This would like knock someone off balance, but it doesn't create any type of tension in the wrist. The wrist naturally bends like this. You couldn't break anyone's wrist like this. However, there are two different things you could do. The first thing that I would do is get them into an elbow lock like this. So showing you from an angle that you can see, so what you do is you grab the wrist and then you use your arm as leverage against the back of their shoulder to create a pivot point where you can then break the elbow like this. The second thing you can do is this. So just grabbing the meat of the thumb doesn't create enough torque to break the wrist. However, if you add another hand and grab the other end of the palm, you can then create enough torque where if you twist really quickly, you can break the wrist.
Hey! You ever taught to keep your hands to yourself?
What?
You got a crush on her?
Season 3 dived into more of Kreese's backstory, and we get to see why he is the way he is and what happened to him to make him become the man that he is today. So this dude, his name's Barrett Carnahan, and he portrays young Kreese. So the fight starts, and Kreese kind of gets shoved into the bully, and then he gets gut punched. Kreese ducks, and then the bully punches the other bully. Anytime you see assailants end up attacking each other, I like it because it's smart choreo. So then Kreese starts throwing some punches back, and this is all like very brawly type of courtyard fights. You usually see these kind of fighting techniques in bar fights, but I really like seeing it here. It's very rough, very tumble, and it fits Kreese's backstory. He's very young here, he hasn't trained yet, and so he's really scrappy and just like making do with what he's got. I really like seeing that, especially right here. It shows that he isn't necessarily the most talented fighter, but he's got the guts and the will to win fights. That's what sets him apart from the other bullies in the show.
You know what? Forget it. You're on your own.
Leaving already?
Skipping
guys,
forward in
let's
this
talk
episode,
about
we move
this,
to
right?
Johnny and Daniel
keep the
in
van, we
this
just
car
wanna know what
garage,
happens to the
and
kid
they're
who
surrounded by a bunch of like thuggish
ready to
mechanics,
call the
and they dive into this giant group fight. I was really excited
cops,
to see
alright?
the
We can
thug
work
carrying
this
the
out.
chain. I love seeing props in fights, so I was really excited to see how they use that. So Johnny starts, and it's really interesting to see their styles contrast. Daniel is much more about disarming and redirecting his opponents, whereas Johnny is really just about like taking them out as efficiently as possible. He gets this really tricky like neck grab, which is great. I love seeing that kind of stuff. And then Daniel does a really good wrist lock. So now we're starting to get some interesting like teamwork from the two. Johnny gets like aggressed upon by the dude with the chain. Daniel kind of gets a really great like leg trick right there. Daniel takes out that guy. Johnny throws the dude on top of the car, which was like a great stunt. And so here's like the teamwork coming in. Johnny just like throws this wrench at the dude. And it's interesting because we haven't seen these two characters work together in a fight yet. So this is really fun to see. So Daniel's kind of in a choke. He uses a really great like finger lock and then takes the dude down. And then we get this really great piece of choreo right here. Johnny does a sweep and Daniel does a hip kick off top, and the stuntman does a great flip. And you can see how like triumphant they are when they work together. However, very quickly the tables turn.
Where is
so
he? What kid?
Johnny starts getting really aggressive with one of the mechanics, and Daniel like doesn't have the moral ability to let that slide. Daniel tries to stop Johnny, and then as quickly as they started working together, they start regressing into fighting each other. So we get some great choreo, and then it ends with like a double front kick where they both hit each other. And it's a really great way to show, like, even though their styles are different, they're still pretty equally matched in skill. So when they do face each other head to head, there isn't really going to be a winner.
Look, old man, I don't know you, but if you care about her well-being, you can pay her rent.
The last little bit of this episode shows Kreese intimidating Tori's landlord. Now, the lock that he does here is a little bit sneaky, and let me show you why. So in this clip, the landlord kind of starts and taps Kreese's chest. Kreese grabs the arm, pulls him off balance, and then circles around and tucks his arm underneath their arm. So you can see this creates like a nice lever to break the elbow. In that second shot, he lets go of the elbow here and pulls out the cigar clipper here. Now that wouldn't work because his arm was here. He would have to go into his pocket, grab the cigar clipper, and then go here, in which time the guy could just pull his arm out. Like, that wouldn't work. They needed two different shots to make that work.
Looks like Karate Boy want to throw down. Go ahead. Give you a free shot.
Moving forward, this is season 3, episode 3, titled Now You're Gonna Pay, and we get to see Robbie with his first jail fight. So it starts really aggressively, and the bully pulls Robbie and immediately puts him in the middle of 3 different guys. Now Robbie tries to fight off the first dude, but then he gets tackled by the second dude into the table, and he's surrounded by 3 of them. He's immediately overwhelmed, which is a really hard position to be in. Starting in the middle of 3 aggressors, you're at a huge disadvantage. if you're ever fighting more than one person, what you want to do is try to line your body up against their bodies so that they are in a line against you, so that you only have to fight them one at a time. Being in the middle of 3 people puts you at the exact opposite position, and that means you have to fight all 3 of them at once. It's really difficult to do, and as you can see here, you get overwhelmed very quickly. Those first 3 episodes of season 3 were pretty good, especially episode 2. I really like how they're diving into the technical aspects of karate, especially with these wrist locks. It really showcases some cool things that you can do in TV and movies. And the great part about it is these wrist locks are not flashy. They don't require a large production budget. Like literally anyone can incorporate these kinds of things into their TV shows, into their movies, and it will look good and it's easy to do. I really wish we would see more of these kinds of like small technical things because I think they add a lot of value to your production. The audience likes to see them and it's not difficult to do. Keep an eye out for part 2, and that's all I've got for you today. So take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you next time.
This is so exciting. My debut on the channel.
Yeah. Quiet on set. Quiet on set! Okay. Good job. I don't, that's probably like a really terrible I'm so excited to talk to people on YouTube. Okay. Okay, so